Alright, I have entered Biffpipp's Battle Frontier tournament for the first time in a little while. At time of recording, it starts in about 45 minutes, and I have quickly thrown a team together in a format that I'm not used to because, as you can see, this will be a double restricted tournament. The gloves are coming slightly further off. We are not playing Regulation G here. We are allowing, well, will be allowed, it's not like I'm involved in hosting it, 2 restricted Pokemon on each team. So that's not a format that I've thought about very much. There has not been an official double restricted format in Scarlet and Violet, and while some people have taken an early crack at it, I am not one of them so far, but I definitely was interested enough to give it a try now. So despite this not being Reg G, I have stuck pretty closely to Reg G principles. Basically, I built this team quickly. The first thought that I had for a strong restricted duo was Ice Rider, Calyrex, and Miraidon. Funnily enough, my second thought was Shadow Rider, Calyrex, and Koraidon. There are going to be a lot of interesting restricted combos for sure. But yeah, Ice Rider and Miraidon obviously have both very strong, spammable attacks. They have offensive types that complement each other. I mean, people have been talking about Bolt Beam since at least Gen 3. Ice and Electric round out each other's coverage very well. That's the reason that Ice Rider Calyrex with Regieleki got some attention at Worlds, but Miraidon is a lot stronger than Regieleki. Calyrex can hit things on the physical side, Miraidon on the special side. Calyrex can help cover ground types, Miraidon can help cover water types, and even like Zamazenta just by hitting it very hard into his lower defensive stat. And of course, Miraidon wants to play a fast game in Tailwind, while Ice Rider Calyrex can do that, but also is very good at playing a slow game in Trick Room. So bring the two of them together, and you have a pretty strong starting point for a Tail Room team. The rest of the team, like I said, I built it quickly. You can see it's nothing too crazy. It's basically a standard Miraidon team right now, but with Ice Rider Calyrex tacked on. And I've changed the Ogerpon to Cornerstone Mask because with Sturdy, that one can more easily help Calyrex set up Trick Room for that kind of game plan. So this team has a little bit more room for a Trick Room game plan with the Calyrex and Iron Hands together than the standard Miraidon team. But otherwise, it looks pretty similar with Calyrex here to do its thing where I find openings and otherwise just complement Miraidon. I'm not, as far as I know, a very good Miraidon player. I think my track record suggests that. Mixed bag as an Ice Rider Calyrex player. It's a very strong Pokemon, and I found it intuitive to use sometimes, but I don't know what the meta is going to be like here. So this could go very badly, but it should be fun either way, and maybe I'll learn some things about what the very early stage of the official double restricted format, when that arrives, will look like. Obviously the meta is not developed. A lot of people are probably taking inspiration from Reg G, but this is a start, right? So in about 40 minutes, I'll resume recording again. I'm not going to stream this one, I just don't feel like it, so I'll probably just record each set and put them together in a video. Today is January 23rd, the video will probably go up a while later than that. I'll fit it into my existing schedule, but yeah, that's the team. And in those 40 minutes, I'll rethink some of the EV spreads, and maybe I'll go closer to Luca Ceribelli's EVs from Worlds, but this is the basic team either way, and we'll see how it performs. Oh, I forgot to talk about Terra types. I mean, most of those will look pretty standard too. I do think that I like Fairy Miraidon to help cover for dark types that can threaten Calyrex. I have Grass on the Calyrex. I'm usually a Fire Calyrex guy, but I like Grass here because this is kind of a ground weak team already, with Miraidon and Iron Hands being two of the most important offensive Pokemon. And so terrestrializing Calyrex into another ground weak type seems really not ideal. Plus, good to have a Spore immunity somewhere, even though I have Miraidon, which of course makes, I don't know if a flying type, so it makes all of its teammates immune to Spore. But that assumes I win the terrain control battle, and that's not going to happen every time. So the Spore immunity is nice to have. I have Fire on Iron Hands right now. That gives me a physical attacker that's immune to burn, but Luca Ceribelli ran Bug, and once again, the case for building ground resistance into this team is pretty strong, so I am going to think between now and the tournament about changing it to Bug. Don't be shocked if you see that when the battles start. Okay, now we'll cut to the battles. Alright, here we are in round 1 out of what looks like it will be 4 rounds of Swiss, most likely, although sometimes these tournaments kind of change on the fly. I didn't change anything. Means my sets are going to be a little bit unoptimized, but hey, that's how it usually goes for me. And if I speed creep some opposing Pokemon, given that I've taken inspiration from one of the most standard Reg G teams right now, hey, so much the better, right? Anyway, this looks like a really tough matchup. I have a feeling Zamazenta Shadow Rider is going to be very good in double restricted, huh? I don't know how best to, well, I think the best way to attack this probably starts with Miraidon and Whimsicott. Then obviously I have to watch out for the Rillaboom, giving them terrain control. Could bring Calyrex to help me deal with that. Probably want to bring my restricted Pokemon anyway. Honestly, there's a case for every Pokemon on my team here. Probably least for Ogerpon, because it's really only good into Incineroar. But like, Farigiraf is helpful for their Calyrex. Iron Hands is helpful for... I don't know, it's a good Pokemon. I'll bring Calyrex. I'll just go with my instinct that restricted Pokemon are good. And I'll bring Iron Hands to game 1, and I can think about Farigiraf in another game if this doesn't work out, or I just see a cool adjustment to make. Independent of whether it works out. Okay, they lead Rillaboom, they get terrain control immediately, also they're threatening Fake Out. I pretty much just have to switch Miraidon out here, which is not the end of the world, as I can go Iron Hands. I have Covert Cloak on Whimsicott, so they can't Fake it out. Well, they can chip, but they can't flinch it. And I can go straight for a Light Screen. If they try to set up a Nasty Plot, I have Encore Pressure, so they just do that, but I have Bulky Assault Fast Iron Hands. You can see that my Whimsicott doesn't take this as well as Luca Cherubelli's would. Oh well. Just do what I can to keep Iron Hands healthy, I guess. I do have to watch out for the Incineroar switch in, but hey, that's information at least. I should probably set Tailwind. It is potentially letting Whimsicott go down. There's nobody I want to switch into that slot, which is a problem. The Shadow Rider is putting out a lot of pressure. However, this turn it chooses Psychic into Iron Hands. I get some of that HP right back. Not a whole lot, though. But, what do I want to do? I can... So here's the thing. I could switch to Ice Rider if I don't think that Zamazenta is going to get going with Iron Defense, but I am at least threatening Encore into that. But what I want to do is switch to Ice Rider, I think, and Encore the Calyrex so that I don't have to worry about Astral Barrage, at least for a few turns. Psychic is not doing terribly much to my Calyrex. The Body Press is doing a good bit more, though. I don't have a great out for that, so I'm in a pretty bad spot here, all things considered. This is a hard team to break. This is probably going to be one of the best compositions in the early double restricted format, and go figure, they didn't do anything too innovative here. Honestly, this is a team that I would probably be more comfortable with than this Ice Rider Miraidon stuff that was my first idea, but oh well, no use complaining about it now. Probably want to try to get Miraidon in, so to try to make room for it, I think I'm going to do high horsepower into Zamazenta and switch the Whimsicott slot out to Miraidon. I think they're relatively unlikely to target that slot right now. They get Calyrex out to Incineroar, makes sense, they want to be able to change moves. The Body Press does so much. If I didn't have Tailwind up, I would have considered Trick Room here. Maybe I should have anyway, because clearly I'm still slower than the Zamazenta, but what can you do when my opponent having double Fake Out? So far I've always gotten Specs Miraidon on the field in front of a Fake Out user, which is so hard to work with here. I'll go Iron Hands. I can get the Quark Drive boost, or if they switch Rillaboom back in, I can get a little more recovery on Iron Hands. There's the predictable Fake Out, but it's into Body Press. Iron Hands is pretty much just fodder now. I think I've just let too many resources go. Trying to position into a team that it turns out is pretty hard to position into. I'm gonna Glacial Lance, hope I catch something on the switch, because I feel like that's the kind of play I just have to make at this point. I'll Fake Out into Incineroar. I can make sure that slot doesn't move this turn, but then, yeah, they just knock out Calyrex, but, like, They probably just doubled into Calyrex there and had the safe KO with something. Finally, for the first time in the game, I get Miraidon on the field without fake out pressure. I don't feel safe locking into Dazzling Gleam against the Zamazenta. So I think I'm going to Electro Drift the Incineroar slot instead. If they focus on damaging Miraidon, then maybe I can get a Drain Punch boosted by Quark Drive into Zamazenta. I think there's a chance. As, yeah, they do target Miraidon. We KO Incineroar. Okay, we get the boosted Drain Punch, KO Zamazenta. It's probably still over, but... Oh, yeah, we just lose to Calyrex now. Well, I tried. Like, they can just click Astral Barrage now. I don't have Protect on Miraidon. Whimsicott doesn't take one coming in. So I just have to hope they mess up somehow. Or that they're slower than Miraidon. That's my out, that they're slower than Miraidon. I think it's unlikely, but in that case I have to switch Miraidon out of the fake out pressure. And I think I need damage on Rillaboom. Not that it matters. This will get 2 KOs. Yeah. And I still lose to Rillaboom in the end game, actually. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. This is just a better team for this early go at this format than I came up with. Can't be mad, right? I mean, they use pretty straightforward stuff. I could have come up with it, but I just didn't put the work in. And that's how it goes sometimes. Anyway, that was just game 1. The set's not over, but it feels pretty over. Given that I know the Zamazenta is faster than my Calyrex and Tailwind, I think I just go for the Trick Room game plan this time. So honestly, I might even think about leaving Miraidon behind for this one. I still like Whimsicott for Light Screen and Encore Pressure. So I'm really thinking about Calyrex, Farigiraf, Iron Hands, Whimsicott. I think desperate times call for desperate measures. Feels weird to leave Miraidon behind, but that's how it goes sometimes. Okay. Prioritizing the terrain control, but actually bringing Farigiraf makes a huge difference. And in game 3, if we get there, I might want to think about bringing Miraidon and Farigiraf, because now that I think about it, Miraidon was under so much fake out pressure in game 1. I really did need Farigiraf to just keep that off its back. But here, I can Terra Grass to turn off the Astral Barrage weakness and also resist Rillaboom's attacks. Set up Trick Room with Calyrex. Actually, no, I can just go for a Glacial Lance and set Trick Room with Farigiraf. That ought to work. Yeah, Astral Barrage does nothing to Farigiraf. Doesn't do too terribly much to Calyrex. Farigiraf takes that U-turn pretty nicely. This is a much better start than the last game, although the Zamazenta is still a huge problem, especially since I didn't bring Miraidon this time. But I like that Glacial Lance damage into their Calyrex. I think I like a high horsepower into their Calyrex slot. They probably won't let me snipe a KO, actually. But I feel I can't really safely click Glacial Lance here. I'm gonna high horsepower and hope. And Psychic Noise into Zamazenta. And part of what I'm looking for here is an attack boost on Calyrex because I don't trust its damage into Zamazenta without one. Psychic Noise will at least make sure some damage sticks on Zamazenta for a little bit. Get some damage on Incineroar. Yeah, that Iron Defense is a real problem. I might just have to crit through that. But we can do this and keep trying to damage Zamazenta. Maybe I need to be thinking about getting Farigiraf off the field, but okay, we do get a KO. Still survived that last body press, but Calyrex is almost done here. The good news is I still have Farigiraf on the field. They still can't click priority attacks. It might be worthwhile to just go straight for Glacial Lance here. The Rillaboom is Terra, Fire. Maybe it's not worthwhile. Maybe what I do here is high horsepower into Zamazenta and Psychic Noise again. Yeah, the Rillaboom terrestrializes. I did kind of call that. The high horsepower is not going to do very... I've underestimated Ice Rider Calyrex. I owe you an apology, my friend. It does take out the Zamazenta there. We might... There's still one turn of Trick Room left. We might see a game 3 after all. Here's the thing. I kind of want to make the double Trick Room play where you use Trick Room with both of your Pokemon at the same time, and that gives you a fresh set of turns. The problem is, I think because I want to cover for their Calyrex protecting here. The problem is, I think Rillaboom knocks one of my Pokemon out before I complete that play. So, I think what I'll do instead, just protect Calyrex and foul play Rillaboom. Still might get a little dicey toward the end here. They protect their Calyrex as expected. Tried to fake out, but it didn't work, and not even because of the Armor Tail. Now I have a chance. The problem is, they can just Astral Barrage, knock out my Calyrex, right? And then Rillaboom can knock out Farigiraf pretty safely. So I feel like most likely I just lose both of my Pokemon here. I'm going to go for the double protect. It'll be nice if I get it, and I'll try to set Trick Room with Farigiraf again. Don't get the double protect. Probably just lose both of my Pokemon here. The Calyrex only gets one boost. There's no grassy terrain. The Rillaboom takes some chip. Now I get Iron Hands and Whimsicott. I have already used my Terra, so I can't Terrasilize Iron Hands to help deal with the Rillaboom. What I can do is just throw a Wild Charge at this Calyrex, and Iron Hands is definitely going to be slower than Calyrex and Tailwind, so we Light Screen here for sure. And then Iron Hands should take this pretty well. The Wood Hammer is dicier, but we do survive. I might still lose to the Rillaboom, but one way to find out. Okay, that Moonblast did good damage. That should clinch it, actually. This will KO. Doesn't faint to the recoil, but Whimsicott is faster, and we know Moonblast KOs. Alright, we scraped by in Game 2. That was much better than Game 1. The Farigiraf really is important in this matchup. We've learned. I've learned. Maybe you knew already if you're watching this. Hey, this might start to teach me how to properly play a Miraidon team, huh? And I am thinking about the Miraidon in Game 3. I think Miraidon is a lot better in this matchup with Farigiraf than without. That said, it's still shaky because it has no Protect, and it needs Tailwind to help it deal with the Shadow Rider. So I think... You know what I think might be best here, actually? I don't know if this is good or a throw, but I kind of want to do Calyrex... Farigiraf lead again, Whimsicott in the back, but this time with Miraidon instead of Iron Hands. Is there any need for that? The thing is, Iron Hands was actually kind of good because I can switch it in on special attacks more easily than I can Miraidon. Although it's not like Miraidon is made of paper. Maybe I'm being too conservative with it. Iron Hands also plays better in Trick Room. You know what? We're going to experiment. I'm going to bring Miraidon, and we'll see if I end up regretting it. Okay. Calyrex Farigiraf against Zamazenta and Rillaboom. Obviously, there will be no fake out here, and we know that Calyrex takes the body press reasonably well. If I Terrasilize Calyrex, it resists Woodhammer, but I don't think that's worth committing my Terra right now. I think I feel okay to just... Which Pokemon do I want to click Trick Room? That high horsepower did a lot of damage, even with a bunch of defense boosts on the Zamazenta, so now it'll do more. Unless they are in defense immediately, which they could. Farigiraf can click Trick Room. If it survives these hits, and it does. Very nice. Who's coming in? Incineroar? Okay. Fake Out, Parting Shot, Flare Blitz, Knock Off, so not much reason to Terra Grass in front of that. What did High Horsepower do to Incineroar last time? Did it just do 100%? No. Incineroar... No, it didn't one-shot. It took 2 hits. Okay. We'll try it with a Helping Hand. Almost. It'll knock itself out with recoil here, but that's probably a trade the opponent is okay with, as now Calyrex is already low. Zamazenta at 75. Rillaboom, if it comes back in, still can't Fake Out or Grassy Glide, so that's something. Also, they haven't been clicking Wide Guard, so I even can think about a Glacial Lance here, but I don't think I need to. I think I can just High Horsepower and Foul Play. Honestly, I was thinking about a more conservative play because honestly I'm starting to think about whether I need to be stalling out my own Trick Room because of course I have Miraidon in the back. Although Miraidon is going to be slower than their Calyrex, so what does their Calyrex have as an item? A Covert Cloak? It's honestly not crazy, I think, to bring Miraidon in here. Click Electro Drift into Calyrex. I can pivot to Whimsicott if the Zamazenta is giving me trouble after that. Maybe I Volt Switch Calyrex here, actually. Help cover for a Rillaboom switch. And just try to keep chipping this Zamazenta. Wearing it down gradually worked last game and is kind of the only thing I have for it, so... Well, at least in this speed control situation. Yeah, we'll Volt Switch Calyrex. I don't know, we'll see. They didn't make any switches or anything. So Electro Drift would have just knocked Calyrex out there. Oh well. There's Farigiraf here. There's still a turn of Trick Room, but somehow my Miraidon is the slowest restricted Pokemon here, so that's actually kind of beneficial. What's awkward is that I don't have Protect on Whimsicott, so I can't get it through this turn to set up a Tailwind for next turn. So I guess instead we just Light Screen. I'm probably just going to lose to Rillaboom and something here. I guess we Light Screen. You know what? I think I have to commit the Dazzling Gleam. Otherwise, this game plan is just too slow. They can get me with Wide Guard here, but they haven't clicked Wide Guard a single time, so if they finally do it now, then good for them. They got me. Rillaboom comes in, okay. Get the Light Screen, we get the Dazzling Gleam, no Wide Guard. They do have the Fake Out Pressure now. But I can, at the very least, get my Tailwind with Whimsicott here. I have turned off Miraidon's Grass Resist. That actually might lose me the game as well. But what can I say? Tough matchup. Tough game. Game is hard. Miraidon flinches. Astral Barrage. Knocks out Whimsicott. Doesn't do too terribly much to Miraidon. And let's see what happens. I got my Tailwind. I'll land this Dazzling Gleam into Calyrex, but then out comes a Woodhammer. And you know what? I played that a lot better after game one. I do feel like I learned some things, so I really can't be upset. But we do fall short in the end. Really solid team by my opponent and pretty well played, although I feel like if they'd clicked Wide Guard a single time, they had it, right? Oh, they didn't have it. They did have it. I feel like if they clicked Wide Guard a single time, they would have made things even less comfortable for me. But yeah, still solid all around. Good job. GG's to them. And we'll drop to the 0-1 bracket for round 2. All right, and in round 2, we're facing the man himself, the creator of this very battle frontier, Biffpipp, with another really scary team with Miraidon and Zacian. Now that could be a fun idea for me to pick up when double restricted is being played somewhat more often, i.e. when it's the official format. That Iron Bundle looks like it could be an issue too, although I have Tailwind and he doesn't, so that's something. Actually, Tailwind and Miraidon looks like a pretty strong lead here. Probably want to bring Calyrex, although, well, Calyrex is strong into Miraidon, it's strong into Landorus. It's situationally strongish into Ogerpon. I think there's reason enough to bring my best Pokemon. There's no Fake Out on this team, so Farigiraf is not as important. A Trick Room game plan could conceivably be good. Maybe that's more of a Game 2 thing. I think we just bring Iron Hands. That does have Zacian issues, and especially Landorus issues, but let's see what we can do. Ooh, it's Scarf Miraidon. I actually didn't look at that beforehand. But I think what I want to do here is, I think I can just Volt Switch Iron Bundle and Tailwind. Unless they protect Iron Bundle, but they switched the Miraidon out anyway, so it should be fine. Knock Bundle to its Sash. And I'll go Calyrex here. I think that's pretty straightforward. An Icy Wind. No speed drops because Clear Amulet and Covert Cloak. Probably not super important here, but kind of funny. And actually, I feel like I have a pretty free Glacial Lance here. Their only resist is Zacian, which is, I mean, it's not like that's nothing, but... Iron Bundle's at 1%. Landorus isn't going to take it well. Landorus' Terra type is Flying, still not going to take it well. It's just Glacial Lance, and I'm going to hard switch to Miraidon to get ahead of a possible Zacian switch in. We don't see it. Instead, they try to Encore the Tailwind. There's the Zacian now. But yeah, I've got Miraidon facing it with my Tailwind up. Calyrex gets a Chilling Neigh boost. We'll try to keep that if we can, but here's their Miraidon, but I believe my Miraidon will go fast. I believe it will go fast, but what I mean is I believe it will go first here. I'll go ahead and Terrastallize Calyrex. That'll help it take attacks from their Miraidon. I'll click Glacial Lance. That might be too aggressive, too reckless, but I don't know. We'll find out, and let's go ahead and Electro Drift this Zacian. Of course it's Terra Ground. They're always Terra Ground these days. Why didn't I not even check that? But if we land this Glacial Lance, we might land this Glacial Lance. Please attack Miraidon. Yes! Okay, I think Zacian just wins now. Yeah. I mean, there's still their Miraidon to worry about, but... Okay, forfeit. Okay. I don't think they were beating my Iron Hands in the back anyway. Alright, so that went pretty smoothly. On to game 2, and I don't really have any different ideas here. So we know that... Man, I feel like I'm figuring out even basic things as I go here. Like, I didn't think about Zacian's Terra type. Oh no, it's ground. What will my Miraidon do? Oh right, that's part of the theory of this restricted pairing, that Glacial Lance picks up ground types. I feel like I just had such a strong mode into this team. At least in game 2, I want to just run the same stuff again. I also never showed Iron Hands in game 1. And it would have been very strong if we'd played it out. And I mean, okay, here you got this. Is it Terra Ground for It actually is Terra Ground for Rigorath. Okay, so I can't safely Volt Switch. Fair enough. Fair enough. The Farigiraf does not have Foul Play. Go Calyrex, I think. Maybe like taking a U-turn wouldn't be ideal, but I think it's okay. I'll click Lights. I'm not confident that I need the Tailwind here, so I'll click Light Screen just for something for Whimsicott to do right now. Could be useful later. There's the Terra Ground for Rigorath. They've committed their Terra not to Zacian, and once again it is to make a ground type. So Glacial Lance looks like a fun and cool move here. And maybe it's a little predictable after last game, but I think I will go right back out to Miraidon. So I can try to threaten Zacian if it comes back in. Does that even work? Isn't Zacian faster than Miraidon? Miraidon is... Yeah, Zacian is probably faster. Okay. In that case, maybe I need Tailwind first. So I'll do Tailwind and Glacial Lance. And I can sack Whimsicott. It's not ideal, but it kind of works. There's the Zacian. Farigiraf protecting I don't love, but I will protect Calyrex here and just Moonblast Farigiraf, I guess, to chip it. But I'm trying to let Whimsicott go down so I can get Miraidon in. They're not making that easy for me. They did not KO Whimsicott. Alright, I'll Terrastallize Calyrex and hope that works out. Last turn of Tailwind. I think I can Glacial Lance here. I can't Encore because of Armor Tail. I could switch to Iron Hands, but I think I still like keeping Iron Hands as a surprise in the back. But I'm going to High Horsepower Zacian. Moonblast for Rigorath. Keep wearing that down. Yeah, we take the Play Rough. Not necessarily the best use of my Terra. I was trying to cover for a Behemoth Blade there, but maybe they thought it'd switch. I don't know. I'll get Miraidon in on the last turn of Tailwind. I can click Draco Meteor into their Miraidon, or I can Dazzling Gleam. But Draco Meteor is stronger. And they can't Terrastallize. And they're choiced, so we can probably just knock something out here. Giving me Landorus. Maybe that was the turn to Trick Room. Oh well. Yeah, still learning as I go, right? This actually is awkward because Tailwind is up. Their Miraidon is faster than mine. Well, I mean, I'm trying to win with Iron Hands. That's how it is at this point. And to that end, Glacial Lance, Draco Meteor, Farigiraf. Try to get rid of Farigiraf so that Iron Hands can win the game. They choose to knock out Calyrex. We do pick up Farigiraf. And yeah, it's just Iron Hands trying to beat Miraidon at this point. How heavy is Miraidon? I was not about to say fat. I was just had a slip there and was going to say how fast is Miraidon. But now the question is its weight, and Showdown is telling me it's heavy. So low kick and Draco Meteor just because we have to. Electro Drift is not doing much to Iron Hands there, even with a crit. That Draco Meteor still does a lot at -4. Oh my god. Choice Specs Miraidon going crazy in the electric terrain. And GG's to Biffpipp. This set went way more smoothly than round 1, but that was a very scary team, and I definitely felt like I was having to play it carefully throughout. But yeah, I feel like I showed more of the potential of Miraidon and Ice Rider Calyrex here. With just a little bit of thoughtful positioning, they were able to cover for each other's weaknesses really well and get so much offense going. And I now improved to 1-1 in... I don't know, man. Sometimes these hosts change the number of Swiss rounds on the fly. I'm pretty sure they're discussing it on the Discord right now, but as far as I know, it's going to be 4 rounds. Round 3, another Shadow Rider Zamazenta team. This one with a more offensive slant to it. That Clefairy could be an issue, for sure. Although, it's not like it's redirecting a Glacial Lance. But it is making it harder to wear Zamazenta down. I think Friend Guard is no joke in this matchup, considering how my last Zamazenta matchup went. Terra Dragon, okay, that's good to know. Anyway, ooh, I see a lot of Ice Weak Terra types here. Okay, so we know that we bring Calyrex into the Chi-Yu. It's a little dicier, actually. We know that we bring Farigiraf to these, that's for sure. And I have to move a little bit faster here because I'm on the timer. I think we definitely bring... I'm going to try Miraidon, Whimsicott, Farigiraf, Calyrex. I'm not confident that's right, but... what can I tell you? Stuff's tricky. They just lead both restricteds immediately. Totally valid, to be honest. And I'm going to answer that by Volt Switching into the Zamazenta immediately. Volt Switching into Rillaboom instead. Not great. Better, I guess, than Electro Drifting into Rillaboom and staying on the field. Calyrex Terastallizes. I'll get Farigiraf in here on an Astral Barrage. So that's a threat to Whimsicott, but not so much Farigiraf. I do think that I need to get a Light Screen up before Whimsicott goes down. So let's just go ahead and do that, I think. And just try to chip this Calyrex. Maybe I shouldn't be handing out Grimnay boosts like that, but what else am I going to do here? Giga Drain, okay. I didn't see that coming. The Calyrex choosing not to get boosted this turn. They're going to pivot something in. Is it Zamazenta? So that they can keep terrain control? No, it's Chi-Yu. Okay. Well, that's still good for their terrain control game because I feel like I can't really bring Calyrex in here. Miraidon it is. And I guess I will... Honestly, it's clunky, but I'm down to just Trick Room here. And Volt Switch the Chi-Yu slot, which is choiced. Get Calyrex in. It should be slower than some stuff under Trick Room, even with my Tailwind up. We actually just knocked the Chi-Yu out. Get Calyrex in. That Trick Room could be awkward for Miraidon in the back. What? Why did they forfeit so quickly? I'm not confident that I knew how I was beating Zamazenta here. Maybe I'm missing some nuance. But okay, I set Trick Room and Tailwind at the same time. How often do you see that? We go to game 2 now. Well, I guess they don't want to play in Trick Room. Maybe I want to be setting that right away, huh? They also don't have Psychic on this Calyrex. So Iron Hands might be decent here. But I do still like the on-card pressure from Whimsicott in these matchups and the light screen. We'll go back to the lead that worked relatively well in the last Shadow Rider Zamazenta matchup, Calyrex Farigiraf. If they really don't want to see Trick Room, let's think about setting it early. Bring Whimsicott for sure, and then maybe I think about Iron Hands instead of Miraidon. I think that's kind of reasonable, actually. I think I'm going to try it. At least in this game. Got a one-game advantage, right? A little bit of room to experiment and see what works. They lead Chi-Yu, Calyrex. Okay, that makes sense. That puts a lot of pressure on my Trick Room lead, but I can just protect Calyrex and Terra Water for Farigiraf, can't I? That seems pretty strong here. That does turn off its Astral Barrage immunity, so one way or the other, maybe they just get rid of my Farigiraf. You know what? I'm just going to try it, and we're going to see what happens. We're just going to YOLO this. It's game 2. I have a 1-0 lead. If this doesn't work, I can try to adjust in game 3. Seems like they're thinking too. Overheat into Farigiraf, okay. Astral Barrage. Knocks out Farigiraf. Alright. Well, that's probably game losing for me, but we'll keep trying here. Gonna go right for a Glacial Lance and light screen. I've already used my Terra, so I can't turn off the Astral Barrage weakness. I probably just lose this game, and I probably need to bring Miraidon to game 3. In fact, maybe I go back to the mode I used in game 1. An overheat, that's cool. Astral Barrage just knocks all my stuff out. Alright, in that case, I'll go ahead and pull the quick forfeit here. And we'll go to game 3. And do I want to just go back to leading Miraidon Whimsicott with Calyrex Farigiraf in the back? I think I do. I haven't brought Ogerpon to a game yet, have I? But I don't think this is the one. Lead Calyrex Chi-Yu again. But yeah, this lead matches up better into this than it did into the last thing. And I mean, that Chi-Yu is looking very tasty to Miraidon after what happened to it in game 1. So we're going to go ahead and try to have some fried fish here. We'll light screen. With Rillaboom in, not shocking, but I should probably click Tailwind before light screen. That's pretty silly of me. I'll get Farigiraf here. And now actually I can think about setting Trick Room. I think I just go for it. They really don't seem to want to play into Trick Room. And I'll just Moon, since I probably don't want a Tailwind here, I'll just Moonblast the Calyrex slot. Whimsicott goes down. Not the end of the world. Now I can get... Oh, that crit almost KO'd, but not quite. Now I can get Calyrex in with Light Screen and Trick Room. I can honestly just Helping Hand, Terra Grass, Glacial Lance. I don't know if I need the Terra Grass. I feel a little bit more comfortable with it than without. Okay, they protect their Calyrex, so be it. Knock out Rillaboom here. 3 more turns of Trick Room. There's the Zamazenta, though. Don't love seeing that right now, but I'm just gonna... They do have Wide Guard. I have to keep that in mind. I think I'm just gonna Psychic Noise Zamazenta and... Am I? Maybe I want to double into Cal. I think I'm just gonna Psychic Noise Zamazenta and... Horse... Power. I think I'm just gonna Psychic Noise Zamazenta and Protect. Okay. High horsepower in their Calyrex would not have been great, huh? The Terra Grass Calyrex still might kind of ruin me here. Especially since it honestly would be kind of nice to get Farigiraf off the field and get Miraidon in right now. But they didn't knock it out. Psychic Noise and a high horsepower Zamazenta, I guess. We'll try to wear that down. Unlike the round 1 opponent, this one is clicking wide guard. I do at least a +1 Calyrex. It actually does just get the KO there. It did kill a couple of Trick Room turns, though. But we know Miraidon beats the Chi-Yu in an endgame, so I think I feel okay here to just, like... They might protect... So the thing is, they might protect Calyrex. And in that case, I'm kind of throwing, if I don't high horsepower the Chi-Yu. Alright, I'll high horsepower Chi-Yu, but if I get the call wrong, and it looks like I did... that's annoying. Glacial Lance, I think, would have won the game on the spot there. Okay, but they Giga Drain for Farigiraf. I can probably still win this. My Pokemon are fairly healthy. +2 Astral Barrage. I don't know. Actually, I think I might lose. We'll try. Glacial Lance would have won, but I thought they would protect the Calyrex to cover for that. That's frustrating, but that's how Pokemon goes sometimes. GG's to my opponent. Well played at the end there. You definitely got me on that last turn with everything on the line. So 1 and 2 now. Probably 1 round left. Round 4. I believe this will be my last one for tonight. Unless I've missed something. That's okay. I'm having fun. And I'm definitely learning things. I definitely feel like I'm understanding... Even though this isn't Reg G, understanding Miraidon teams a little bit better as I go here. Maybe that's overstating it. I mean, this doesn't look that much like Luca Terabelli team or something. But hey, maybe I'm getting a preview of what Double Restricted will be like. Anyway, Miraidon is the most... Okay, let me pick my Pokemon first. Try Trick Room stuff game 1. Miraidon is the most used Pokemon in this tournament, and I believe the only Pokemon with majority usage tonight, although some people showed up late. Maybe the stats have changed. Even so, I faced it in every round, huh? And always with a wolf. None of my opponents have had Calyrex Miraidon, but everyone has had Miraidon. I've had Miraidon. Miraidon has 100% usage rate in this video, probably. Barring some very late surprise. Okay, looks tricky to set Trick Room here, but I will go for a Terra Grass and try to set it with Zacian. By which I mean Calyrex. I will go for a Terra Grass and try to set it with Calyrex. Because I don't trust Farigiraf to survive this turn. However, because there's nothing I want to switch into the Farigiraf slot, we're just going to Psychic Noise the Miraidon. Okay, take the Behemoth Blade. Volt Switch knocks out Farigiraf with a crit. There's Iron Hands, perhaps anticipating what's coming here. I suppose I could get my own Iron Hands in. I could get Whimsicott in. What is Whimsicott doing here? It's tricky, though. They do have Play Rough. Not much my Iron Hands can do about that. Also, my Armor Tail is gone, so... Maybe I just lose this one. Maybe this one is just not gonna go my way. Okay, they tried to cover for Fake Out too. Fair enough. Fair enough. High horsepower. Drain Punch, double into Zacian. I'm playing quickly. I don't really care at this point. Not much more to be done with this tournament. But I do still want to win, and this game was a poor start for that. So we're not going to bring that mode to game 2. Okay. Alright. You saw nothing. This is game 1. Just kidding. It's game 2. We'll go back to the Miraidon stuff now, yeah? Miraidon, Whimsicott, Calyrex, Farigiraf. Let's just do it. Maybe Calyrex is bad in this matchup, but I don't really care right now. We're having fun here. Okay, Terra Water Zacian, not ground. Terra Water Zacian. I almost can just Tailwind and Volt Switch. Only thing is it can protect. So we'll Volt Switch the Miraidon. Volt Switch and Iron Hands is no big deal. Oh, they went Terra Fairy. Oh my god. Oh, that almost KOs. Oh, that actually worked out pretty nicely. Take out Farigiraf back. That's fine. That just gives me Miraidon right back on the field. I'm okay with that, I think. Blast Iron Hands. Okay, it's their Farigiraf coming in. We knock out theirs. Their Miraidon, I mean. Nice Moonblast, decent damage, nice drop. What does their Farigiraf have? It doesn't matter if I risk Miraidon taking a fake out here. At least I don't think it matters. And I can now threaten the Encore into their Iron Hands after chipping it with this Moonblast. I get Trick Room up, but I'm still. What am I afraid of here? Electro Drift Farigiraf, Encore Iron Hands. Oh, they have Armor Tail. That's very silly of me when I'm myself am running Armor Tail, but they didn't do very much damage to Miraidon. Probably tried to call the Calyrex switch in. I don't know why you Wild Charge there, but now Miraidon is probably slower than Zacian. Just Electro Drift that slot. And I can now Encore the Iron Hands. Probably worthwhile when both my Pokemon resist its attack. Take out Zacian with the Electro Drift. I'll tell you what, this tournament run tonight, it's been up and down. There have been swings all over the place. I'm going to go either 2-2 or 1-3. But there have been some high-powered games. Some high-octane, fast-paced, breakneck offense going on tonight. If that's what the double restricted regulation is going to be like, at least early on, it's going to be a fun time for sure. Anyway, we'll just do this again. I'm not worried about any... I'm not thinking that hard about adjustments right now. Okay, same leads, same thought process as before pretty much. I'd like to Volt Switch the Zacian, but it could protect. That's not what they did last time, but, you know, maybe they... Last time didn't work out for them. Maybe they make some different choices this time. They kept the Zacian in, but they also terrestrialized their Miraidon again, and once again we almost knock it out with the Volt Switch. I'm down to sack for Farigiraf here. Once again. Behemoth Blade into Whimsicott. Okay, but I got my Tailwind up. It does mean I don't have Encore or even Moonblast pressure after this. But I have my Tailwind. I still have Farigiraf on the field, so they can't fake Miraidon out this time. Remember, it's Terra Water Zacian. I think I'm down to just start clicking Electro Drift. Psychic Noise, Iron Hands, Electro Drift Zacian. They could protect, but I don't think that's the end of the world. I am starting to see why people like Miraidon, apart from it being strong and getting good competitive results. It is an exciting Pokemon to play in a tournament setting. And I don't have that kind of experience with it. You know, just goofing off on the best of one ladder is one thing, but I'm a little tired. It's been kind of a long day. Maybe it's not really showing, but my blood is pumping right now. Tried to use Drain Punch and the Psychic Noise didn't allow it. I forgot it even works like that. Oh my god. It just fully doesn't allow them. It just stop the healing. It fully doesn't allow them to execute the move. I might lose to Zacian now. But you know what? I have a way to not lose to Zacian. Ready? It's the last turn of Tailwind. Go for a Trick Room. I'm just thinking about whether to terrestrialize Zacian. Or, I mean, Calyrex. And I think the answer is not yet. You know what? I'm just going to Terrasilize Calyrex. There's no way I Terrasilize Miraidon at this point. Yeah, okay, they protected. Sure. They're going to stall up my Tailwind, but... Oh, that did so much damage, too. That's not good. But here's the Trick Room. I still have Electric Terrain up. High Horsepower into Iron Hands. Electro Drift into Zacian. Their Iron Hands is slower than Miraidon. Didn't think that part through. But we won't be one-shot by a Behemoth Blade here. We're probably threatening a strong high horsepower into Zacian. It is Terra Water. You know what? They can beat me with Terra Water Zacian. That's their out, but I don't care. I'm just clicking buttons and having fun attacking stuff. Maybe they can beat me with this. They reverse the Trick Room. Okay. Yeah, that's valid. Alright, so I definitely lost. Went 1-3 in the tournament. I really can't complain. This is a team that I made in a few minutes. Just kind of tweaking Reg G stuff a little bit, and not even Reg G stuff that I knew how to play well. I was very much figuring this team out as I went, even on a basic Reg G friendly level. I had some exciting back and forth sets. I think most of them were pretty close. I mean, round 3 just came down to the last turn. If I just not made that read, I think I would have won that one. But that's Pokemon. That's how it goes sometimes. And seriously, I'm going to have to go, I don't know, read or something to settle down. Because this, results aside, this really got the adrenaline flowing. I had a lot of fun with this team. And I'm now looking forward to at least the early end of official double restricted when that starts. So, thanks for tuning in to this double restricted Pokemon tournament. I've had an absolute blast. I hope it's been fun to watch, even as my performance has not been quite what I hoped. And who knows what's coming after this. This video is probably going up still with a lot of Reg G left to play, but this was more like it. I had a great time here. I was so busy monologuing about how much fun I had that I forgot to say GG's. Oops. If you see this, GG's. You know, now that I think about it, maybe Hearthflame Mask Ogerpon would have helped quite a bit into my Wolf matchups. So, given that I never brought Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon to a single game, I think that was a bad change. I think Hearthflame Mask instead of Cornerstone would be the first thing I would think about if I were revising this team. But more likely if I play double restricted again soon, I'll just make a whole new team. But yeah, just a stray thought that I had when I was glancing over the Limitless standings before I log off here. Worth thinking about if I ever bring this back. Okay, that's enough fake endings. I'm done for real now. Subscribe, like, leave a comment, all that, please. Bye.